me, you need to use your computer audio or dial in to get the audio. And we do have screen sharing as well. So my name is Jessie Paul. I'm the CEO of Paul Writer, and I'm your host for today. And we're co-hosting this with Let's Talk CX in association with Oracle. And we do hope that you've been following our discussion on Let's Talk CX, and grab a cup of coffee or tea, and we'll set the ball rolling. So today we're going to talk about enhancing customer understanding to build a personalized experience. And we all know what it feels like when personalization goes wrong. There's even research which says that only 40% of customers actually feel that whatever customized communication they got was actually for them. So recently, for example, we've been hiring various profiles. We've been hiring for content. We've been hiring for digital marketing, and obviously, I'm looking for ways to post those jobs out there. So that's obviously triggered something somewhere in the personalization engine. So next thing I know is that wherever I go, I'm being pursued by ads offering me jobs as content writer, as a digital marketer, in sales. Any opening I have is now being offered to me. Now, they've gone to a lot of trouble to personalize those ads, but clearly they did not get the persona right. And as marketers, we all know how often this happens. It's incomplete information, or we just haven't thought through that persona, or any of the any of these reasons. So when we want to treat customers as people, we really do have to use technology to determine what are they really looking for, and how will our message actually apply to them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And before we get started, quick housekeeping, do keep yourselves on mute. We don't actually need the video feed from everyone. It sucks up a lot of bandwidth as well. It's also a bit distracting. So you don't need to keep that on. If you have questions, maybe you could just post it in the chat window. How it works is that, we start with the session while the speaker is having the conversation. You can post any questions you want to ask them in the chat window, and they will address it as soon as possible. Or, if it's really important that we ask that question right then, I will interrupt and ask that question as well. So with that, let's get started. To help us discuss this topic, we have two really cool people today. We have Sapna Ahuja, who's the CEO of MapmyIndia. And we have Madhukar Unial, who's a sales consulting director for Oracle Marketing Cloud India. He's been a partner on a number of our previous webinars as well, so many of you may be familiar with Madhukar. So hi, Madhukar. And Sapna, great to have you with us on today's webinar. It's the first time that we're hosting you, and it's a pleasure. So with that, I think today's format, we've tried to keep it engaging. So we're going to start with a conversation with Sapna, where she's going to discuss, her experience with customer experience design and how they've gone about it at MapmyIndia. So Sapna, if you could switch on your mic and we can start.
Yeah, hi Jessie.
Hi Sapna, great to have you with us today.
Thank you, my pleasure to be here on this platform.
Thanks so much. So I have a little bit, some questions for you. First is maybe you could just share with, everyone, what does MapmyIndia do, so that we have the context when we, get into the CX discussion.
Sure. So MapmyIndia, it has been into existence for last 25 years. We are still known to be a startup, primarily because of the culture that we have internally of coming up with new products and new technologies all these years. So, what do we deal with? We are primarily into four areas of innovation. The first one is maps, where we are building maps for navigation. We are building maps for analytics. We are building maps for even autonomous vehicles. So while, when it comes to India, autonomous vehicles, they don't seem to be a reality today, but there's a lot of work which is going behind building autonomy and automatic vehicles. and that's where map becomes very, very critical, where we build a real view or real-time digital twin of the country. Second area that we really deal with is IoT or telematics, where it's all about interacting with remote devices through a common platform. So MapmyIndia has a very robust platform which can interact with multiple devices and can do all sort of analytics to give you some meaningful actionables within your business processes. So the use case here could be as simple as tracking your vehicle with a GPS device. And if you get an alert, which is a meaningful actionable, what I was referring to, if you get an alert that a vehicle has gone beyond a certain area, it means, it's giving you some information that probably there's a theft or somebody is trying to play around with your vehicle, and then you can take certain actions. So maps, IoT, these are two different areas of innovation. Plus, these are supported with functionalities related to navigation, and definitely analytics becomes a key for MapmyIndia as an organization. So I'll repeat again: 4 areas: maps, navigation, telematics, and analytics. With these four with products belonging to these 4 areas, we are today serving various corporates or enterprises and also individuals through our apps and devices which are available. This is yeah, I think.
Yeah. I think it's actually a very vast space and a very cutting edge space. But today, we're going to talk more about the customer experience angle. So, what is MapMy India's approach towards customer experience? I mean, what are the challenges that you see or the opportunities?
Sure. See, we truly believe in customer first philosophy. CX, hence, is a very, very crucial part to MapmyIndia. What we're seeing is that customers, they have become smarter, they have become more approachable, especially with more and more adoption of internet, of smartphones, and app-based products. MapmyIndia, when we our products for individuals, they are mostly app-based. And what we've seen is that the way customers are becoming more approachable, they're also becoming more demanding in terms of quicker response times. In fact, they need responses almost in a real time. That's what we have seen. Second is the expectation in terms of the relevant content. So just to give you a little more information of the kind of products that MapmyIndia deals with. So we provide map-based data sets on your mobile phone, which can help you per se for navigation. So if I know that there's a particular customer who is who looks for restaurants, or who loves traveling, there's a specific type of content that I need to serve that customer. So content relevance becomes very, very important, and identifying right customers, or basically identifying what content to go to which customer, segmenting customers becomes very, very important. It's a challenge, and at the same time, it's an opportunity also for us. And how? So what the other challenge that we feel is the digital transformation, which is becoming very, very important. And transformation is required in all your business processes, be it customer acquisition, be it marketing, be it support, feedback management, customer behavior analytics, while he is using a particular app or a particular product. Understanding this deeply and transforming it into a digital process on a regular basis, especially when the products are also evolving on every hour, it becomes that's another challenge that we have.
Great. So, are you using tech to solve any of these problems, and what do you think is the role of technology in a CX strategy?
So technology definitely plays a very, very important role in this area. Again, we need to See, there's a direct correlation between customer experience and the revenue bit. It is important to deliver high value, personalized experiences across various touch points. How do we deliver those experiences unless we know what exactly the user is wanting? And to know what the user is wanting, there's huge amount of data which is to be captured while he's experiencing or using your products. That data has to be analyzed. So there's a lot of artificial intelligence and big data analytics which we are using, which we have implemented uh, to understand what customer really wants, what a specific customer really wants, to basically be able to give him the personalized content. And uh, yeah.
Great. And going forward, how do you see, CX evolving?
Okay. See, just give me a moment. See, it becomes again. I would reiterate my point that there's a need to have a lot of technology in place. We are using, we are using various tools. We are using tools like Eloqua. We are using mm, uh, artificial intelligence to understand customer behavior. I think going forward as the volume increases, it becomes more and more important uh, for organizations to continue to use technology to understand customer behavior and accordingly give them right solutions, to give them right communication at different points during the journey of the customer. So be it at the time when you are uh, targeting your products to specific customers, or during the time when he is experiencing your products, or even post at a later point of time when you want to give him providing access to the newer technology, the newer products, it becomes very important to use the right technology there.
Great, Sapna. I have one question in from one of the participants, which is, how do you define your customers? I think the question was more around persona.
Yeah.
So how
Okay.
do you define them, or how many do you have? Like, how do you define them?
Right. So at a very, very broad level, we have we classify our customers as into three different categories. We have individuals. We have customers which are enterprise customers, mostly the corporates, and we have government customers. To, uh, it's the same technology stack which goes to each one of them. Now, the next level of segmenting is, if I look at individuals, whether he is a travel enthusiast or or he loves entertainment. So that is the level that at which we go while defining the customers. So customer segmentation is important, and accordingly, the right content is to be delivered to the customer.
Great. So with that, I think, we'll let you go for now, and then we'll come back with questions after Madhukur's session. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one question which I will ask since we do have the time. Can you give an example of a personalized experience from MapmyIndia context?
Okay. So I'll pick up the same example. See, if I'm a travel enthusiast and I go for trekking on a regular basis, and that is the information that I get to know from one of through the users usage of one of my product, which is, let's say, navigation. So there's person A who takes my product and goes for trekking on a regular basis. I know I can use this information to be able to target another product to this consumer, which is to do with tracking. If navigation is important for him to reach a particular location, tracking is important for him to take care of his security and safety when he is when he is going to such remote destinations or remote locations. So that's like one example.
Great. There is another question, but I think I'll take that up after Madhukar's session because he may also add to that. So thanks so much, Sapna, and we will catch up with you right after Madhukar's session as well. Great. Madhukar, over to you now. And I believe you have a cool engagement device with a QR code that you want us to scan.
Yeah.
So the floor is all yours.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. Just want to make sure logistically we're doing fine. Can you hear me? Okay. Because I was seeing
I can
some.
hear you fine.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Let me just share my screen and then just make sure can the screen share is working fine.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Excellent. Okay. I'll just put my first slide up. Sapna, thank you. It was really insightful, and you made you shared some good examples. One of the example that you shared was a person looks at restaurants and eating out, and those sort of things, and you use that data to serve them the next content. So it's basically bringing the data and the content together, and that's what I'm also going to talk about in this session. So guys, really, since the topic today is about personalization and we are going to talk about data driven personalization, I thought I'll just start this session with a slide or with a name, with a logo, with something that we all are familiar with, right? This is where we start our journey in the morning, in the afternoon, whatever time we are at. Google, right? So this is how Google was back in 1999. Google beta and had some buttons here and there. This was Google back in 2000, where they came up with some more options, added some more languages, and had some more call to actions. Um, 2001, the real estate changed. They wanted to showcase the mighty Google of 1.6 billion web pages, and you can search from Google in 2002. They came up with directory, they came up with groups and image search as well. 2005, they came up with some more things about business solution, advertising platform, and you can personalize and sign in. And this Google that we are aware of, there have been quite a few, I would say, um, you know, changes into Google, and this is how we see Google now. Now, the reason why I brought this example right up on my session is because this is a powerful example, something that we all are familiar with, a classic example of personalization, optimization, and testing at its best. I mean, would we call it a waste of real estate? Of course not. Over a period of time, Google realized that people are coming to my site, audience are coming to my site for a purpose. And the purpose is to start that journey. So they've changed the look and feel and made it so simplified, so powerful that now we just go in there, put the cursor right at the search bar and just start the journey. And that's what businesses are doing. So not so long ago, we are all familiar with this image. This is the time when advertisers and marketers used to command our attention, right? You're watching your favorite cereal on Sunday morning and you see those advertisement from some different brands and washing powder and so on. You would just imagine what's happening. This is a classic time when marketers and advertisers used to command our attention. Now the reality has changed. uh, Everybody owns a device, the content is on demand, and marketers and advertisers are at the mercy of consumers' time, their device, their content. So two contrasting images there, right? One is a very communicational image where it's one to many, um, you know, and this is many to one, many devices and one consumer, right? So, and I also want to move from this communicational approach. So I'll be speaking for another 20, 25 minutes and you will be listening. So what if we open a channel, right? Let's just open a channel, which means I want to have a communication going between us because I can't really keep looking at the chat window and speak simultaneously. So here is how I want to open this channel. If you can just scan this QR code on your mobile device, or if you are on a desktop or a iPad or a tablet or whichever, just type this small URL on your web browser, which is etc.ch/ccdb. So either you scan this QR code on your from your device, or just go to this small little URL. And what you will see on your screen is it will say your presenter will start the poll soon. right? Yeah, just to get a pulse of what kind of audience we have in the room. I thought it would be a good idea to make it a little interactive. Okay, so the first question on your screen, if you have scanned or if you are on this URL etc.ch.ccdb, the first question on your screen is, what kind of marketing are you in? I just want to get a pulse of, we have 45 peoples right now. Just want to get a pulse of what kind of, um, yeah, we have most of us, 60, yeah, most of us are digital marketing, or we have a mix of agency. We don't see brand marketing in the session today, but yeah, 20% of the audience on a um, marketing technology provider. Excellent. Yes, so look, we got a pulse of what is the mix of audience we have. We'll move on. You will see the next question on your screen shortly, or these all the votes and all these inputs that you're giving us will be recorded. So again, going back, the response we have is that most of us in this session are from marketing. We have either from digital marketing or the marketing technology provider, not from brand marketing. So we all are aware of these concept of above the line ATL, which was really about reach, and below the line, which was about response, and then a concept of through the line where we try to strike a balance between reach and response, a mix of ATL and BTL. Right? Since we all are marketers, let me just again throw this question again on your screen. How many of you are familiar with the concept of ATL, BTL, and TTL? I just want to get a pulse of the audience. Yeah, if you just see anything on your screen which says reload, just press the reload button. Great. So we have a mix of audience here. Some of you know the concept, almost half of you do, and some of you are not really familiar with the concept, a little bit maybe. Yeah, so just, we're not going to spend a lot of time on the concept of ATL, BTL, but ATL is really above the line, brand awareness, television, radio, magazine, cinema, billboard, all of them. And then we have below the line, which is very response driven. Like the trade show, or if you see that counter at the corner of a shopping mall asking you to try this juice, this new launch product, that's really the below the line. Or the call center calls that we receive are very one-to-one below the line. And then we have through the line, where we try and strike the balance between ATL and BTL. So this advertisement, for example, on a newspaper has a call to action. It is asking you to send a text to this mobile number. And that's really, we're using a channel like newspaper or a television, but it has a call to action. It's not a brand. And that's through the line. Through the line, really. But what is happening today, this is where I'll talk about, when Sapna said that we capture the data to find out what's the next content, and what should be the next thing we should. And why I say that is I have can you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw something popping up on the screen. So I have some examples to share. Like this is one of the example which I received from one of the companies, which said, you left something in the cart, Madhukar. It calls me by my name and says, you left something on the cart. Why don't you come back and we'll give you a discount. This was like within 10 minutes of my, leaving my session and leaving something on the cart. How personalized can this be? I mean, they have the images that I was going to, the product that I was going to buy. Within 10 minutes, I got the email. This is another example, a publisher website. I was reading this newspaper online, and I don't know whether they really know me so well, but I am a movie buff. I almost every weekend I go and spend time and watch my, the next movie which is out there, and I'm actually going to watch Fanne Khan. But it's just reminding me, book your movie. It's out in cinemas now. On the right hand side, if you see, there is another ad which is saying protect your loved ones, and about the insurance. And it's so personalized, so targeted, because I am actually comparing some life insurance options for myself. This is really personalized. So really, there is no line. we as advertisers, we as marketers are creating our own line. This is another screenshot I took. This was from my wife's device, her tablet, and she was being targeted very differently. The same morning, we were reading the same newspaper online, but she's seeing something like U.S. investor visa. I know she's not a movie buff, so she will never see the movie ad. But I don't know if she has any plans for USA. But this could be a pure digital above the line advertising where she's not being targeted, or the advertisers or the marketer just don't know enough about her. But two devices at the same time being targeted very differently. And then we know what social media has done, right? Social media has really been so personalized, so intimidating. It's almost like they will make us click, go all the way to the thank you page, even if we don't want to. So it's so personalized, so targeted, and so intimidating. So how many of you, again, relate to these examples that I shared? How many of you feel that yes, the line is getting blurred, and yes, the marketers and advertisers have a lot of data, a lot of things that they could really use this to personalize? Yeah, and see, we see a mix of response here. Some of you saying yes, some of you saying somewhat, because of the experiences that we've had. Some of you have been touched by marketers, by advertisers in a very personalized way, in a very targeted way, and some of us have been maybe somewhere just missed, being targeted with a very personalized thing. Yeah. So again, I'll come back to what Sapna again mentioned in the session, that it's about content. Content is the king, has always been the king, and content will be the king, right? I mean, just think about the content, what we used to hear back in those good old days. So powerful messages, like the messages, the content, like jo बीवी से करे प्यार prestige से कैसे करे इनकार. Unbelievable, so powerful, so simple. Ads like neighbors envy owners pride. Content will remain the king, but the new reality is that data is the god, and data drives content. Data gives more meaning to content. And that's what we here at Oracle also basically look at the same philosophy. So if I have to draw a line and say this is the typical customer journey, where they go through 4 stages: acquisition, nurture, conversion, and retention. These are the typical 4 stages of a customer life cycle. Of course, then there's a loop back, and there's a retention, and then cross sell, upsell, and so on. But I'm just trying to simplify it and keep a very linear view of customer journey. Then we have 2 lines, or two. One is below the customer journey, or let's just say below the line, which is data, and above the line, which is experience. So when we talk about experience, who are the typical people we deal with? Who are the people we need? What technology we need? What are the source we need? So we work with agencies. These are people who work on these tools, technology, Photoshop, and other tools to create some amazing creatives for us. Some a content that will really connect with our audience, and that's on the top of this customer journey and this line, which is experience and design. On the bottom, we have data. Data, the source could be a ERP system, a CRM system, third-party data, or maybe data warehouse. And that's back office, data store, front office, and so on. So what we really are looking at from an Oracle point of view, and 90% of the time that we spend at Oracle Marketing Cloud is with marketers, and in front of the marketers, sitting with marketers, understanding their problem. What's happening today is we're trying to bridge this gap of data and experiences. And how do we do that? So let's just break it even further. On the acquisition side, we have to go and look at paid media, which is essentially a Google, Facebook, display, programmatic, or video, and so on. And then you have to have a data management layer, which essentially what it means is you have to have a layer where you can create a master marketing profile, a single customer view, a single marketing profile, which is connected to the ad tech ecosystem. So you can't just have a data warehouse which doesn't talks to the paid media channel. So you have to have a data management platform where you collect all the data. On the experience side, you have to have a place where you get all your assets together, like a digital asset management or content management system to design your digital property, like a website or a mobile app, and so on. So you have to have these blocks in place in order to get the experience layer right. And on the data layer, you have to have the data and management platform. On top of it, You have to have analytics. So who are people coming to your site? How much time are they spending? Where are they going? What are they doing? What's the bounce rate? Why are some people going all the way to the purchase page, and why are some people not consuming enough content? And then, what do we do of those people who are coming in the evening from Mumbai over a weekend and not converting but spending time, whereas people, same demography of people when they come from Delhi, are actually going all the way to the thank you page and taking the credit card out. So how do you get these things optimized, learn from the signals, the digital body language of visitors on your customer? So these are some things that we put together. Again, this is purely from our experience working with marketers at Oracle, and this is what we call a ideal digital marketing cloud stack, where you have data and experiences connected. Now, one key thing here is that we should not be looking at it like boiling the ocean and saying, okay, let's just get all these pieces together and create the best uh, platform and the best technology stack that we have available in the market. It is always a baby step approach. Like Sapna said, they have invested in a Lakwa. MapmyIndia is a Lakwa customer. Then they have invested in artificial intelligence to understand the behavioral science and behavioral data. And that's where it grows further. So the next step could be to look at the optimization to make sure inbound and outbound campaign are in sync. The next step after that could be a deep dive digital analytics to find out the digital body language. So there are multiple journeys, but this is how ideal marketing stack would look like, and that's what Oracle did. Oracle acquired a bunch of companies to create the ideal acquisition, nurture, conversion, and retention journey. And this is where technology basically helps the marketers. So Oracle Moat, which is one of the latest acquisition that we made back in April 2017. Um, Moat is a solution which gives you attribution around your advertising campaign and marketing campaign. So I'll just put one more slide here again, just to put the stack together. We at Oracle have also done quite a bit of acquisitions to just make sure from acquisition, from analytics, from conversion, retention, we have the right set of tools. Uh, but as I said, it's always a modular journey. So I'll leave you with three thoughts here. What we've learned, what our experience has been working with marketers. Thought number one, data plays the important role. Content will remain the king, but it has to be data. So remember, data is God, and data has to be there. The data has to be at the center of all your strategy, everything, pretty much what you do. Number two is the platform, the solutions that you have, they should be modular, they should be open, they should be integratable, um, and it should not be something like you have a great email platform but it cannot talk back to your website, or you have a great lead management system but it is not a way, not you can't just use that solution to go into the larger advertising ecosystem. And the third and very important point that I'll leave you with is marketing technology and advertising technology. This martech and adtech is not a madtech. um, don't overcomplicate it. You have different tools that you're working on your advertising, your paid, own, earned channels, um, social media channel. There are ways to work through these different tools, again, by bringing data at the center. So yeah, leave you with the same thought. Connected data uh, and connected intelligence is the way forward. And that's where all of us, Oracle and marketers and everybody is moving towards.
Great, thanks so much, Madhukar. And there are some questions. So I'm going to take one that came in a little earlier, and it's a little open-ended. And I'm going to rephrase it a bit because it actually says that with technology, we're removing the old connect between sales and the end customer. So I'm going to flip that around and say, yes, that's obviously happening. But using technology, how do we, make it perhaps even better than before? And Swapna, if you'd like to take a stab at this as well.
Yeah. So just a moment. So talking about whether technology is taking away the connect between sales and end user, whether it's bad or good. I feel it's good, primarily because we are more process oriented with technology. There's less of dependency on individuals. For any organization, individuals keep coming and keep going. it's important to provide a consistent experience to consumers, which can always be configured, and it can always evolve with the help of technology that we put in place. But it's important to be consistent and process oriented. Hence, I think it's really good.
Yeah, I'll echo the same sentiments, Sapna. So, one of the research that Oracle did with e-consultancy and some of the other research firm, we found out that 70% of the time that marketers were, involved in was execution bit. You know, creative already, segmentation is done, upload it in the panel, let's shoot it out, let's get the report back, let's see what the response has been. It was all execution. Um, and what automation has done is it has flipped this 70-30 to 30-70. Now, marketers are spending 30% time on execution and 70% of the time into analysis and strategy, which is their core job. And that's why they can think more, they can use more brain rather than hands and feet to do the execution.
There are actually a number of more questions that have come in, very specific ones for you, Madhukar, which is how are you capturing customer activity data from Eloqua, and what's the function of responses in the agency context?
Yeah, so I'll make it very simple. What really happens is, again, Eloqua was Eloqua, right? We acquired that company, and then Responses was Responses. We acquired Responses, and then we acquired Blueca, and then we acquired a bunch of other companies to bring them all together. Now, all these companies had their own ID. Eloqua has a Eloqua ID, which is primarily the email address, the primary key. Responses has something called RIID, Responses internal identifier. Blueca has a BK ID, Maximizer has a Max ID, and so on, right? Which means they have their own way of identifying users or visitors. What we came up with is something called OID, or Oracle Hash, or the Oracle ID graph, by which we said if we are dropping a cookie, or if there is an email address, and if by somehow we can just connect the Eloqua ID with a Responses ID and with a Maximizer ID or with a Blueca ID, then we can have like a keychain. So you will have still one keychain, but different keys in that chain. Likewise, this Oracle ID graph solves that problem for us, which means if you are, if you have somebody who have come to my site, then you are just a visitor for me. But if you go all the way and sign up, then you become a profile for me. And then if you again come back to my site and I give you some offers or personalize something for you, then Maximizer is taking the information from Eloqua or from Blueca and stitching your complete journey, whether it's inbound or outbound, known or unknown. Does that answers your question?
Hope so. We'll see. But I want to take up a broader question, which is how do you connect all of this with the ROI?
Yeah, and that's at the center of everything, right? Now these different, these different. I won't say there is one ROI. Of course, for a company, there will be like one ROI, which is, let's say, revenue, or which could be a customer satisfaction score, or repeat purchase and so on. But these different tools come with their own set of ROI. For example, if you just take if you just take Eloqua, for example, the ROI is am I passing better leads, qualified leads to my sales team? What has been the lead to conversion score? Those are the kind of ROI I track. For a pure P2C platform like Responses, the ROI could be open rate, click-through rate, conversion rate, and so on. For a solution like Blueca, which is advertising platform, the ROI could be cost per click, cost per impression, cost per mail, and all of those. So different tools will still have their different KPIs, conversion rate, what's the conversion rate gone up or down, and so on. So yeah, different solution, different ROI, but they all lead to one company-wide, enterprise-wide ROI, which is ultimately your revenue and your bottom line.
Swapna, do you want to comment on that? And also, there's a question on, how what AI are you using and how are you doing it?
All right. So AI, we have our own internal tools to understand the customer behavior while using our products. tools totally based on Python, uh, which are very, very specific to our own products. We are not yet have started using any uh, standard products out from the market.
Okay. There is one question, very specific question for B2B, saying the focus is on CRM and how do you strike a balance between direct sales and AI or marketing digitally? Madhukar, do you want to try that one?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I mean that statement is right. That B2B, the focus is on customer relationship and understanding. It's B2B is mostly a considered purchase where the decision is just not made probably by one individual or probably by just one meeting, but it takes a series of meeting. So it has to be a combination of both direct sales and AI or marketing, and it has to be both online and offline. This is what I would say. This is what my experience has been. Take any vertical, for example, like education is a heavy B2B vertical. So is real estate is a heavy B2B vertical. And Sapna can talk more about it. About how B2B is basically a mix of both digital and direct sales. So it's a fusion of offline and online. How do you strike the
I
right
totally
balance? Well, I'd say top of the funnel, let machine do that, which means let the platform do it for you. Also, and more so on the digital ecosystem. The bottom of the funnel, where you have MQL or the qualified lead that you want to pass on to your CRM, to the sales team. That's where your offline or your human intervention or the sales team comes into play.
Madhukar, I totally agree with you. When it comes to B2B, it becomes very important to balance out the direct sales activities and the digital connect. Direct sales becomes very important because you need to establish that connect. You need to really get into uh, explaining how your products can solve the problem of the enterprise. And in order to communicate that, you really need to have that conversation over there. And digital, of course, will continue to do its part from the perspective of you know delivering the right solutions, understanding again mm, uh, and understanding what the target vertical, for which target vertical what products are to be uh, or what solutions make sense. For that, digital really is important, but direct sales has its own importance when it comes to B2B.
Okay, we're going to take up two more questions, and then I think it would be a wrap. So, one is how do you discover customer journey and map it to personalized engagement?
Okay, so how do you discover customer journey and map it to personalized engagement? Um, and that's where technology steps in, right? So I'll give you an example. If somebody has come to my site, they've gone to a specific section of my site, they've downloaded a white paper, or they've come back after 3 days, again looked at some more content, and then they're doing some comparisons of, outside of my digital ecosystem. Those are the signals they're giving you to collect as a marketer. So you collect those signals. This person has come to my site 5 times, looked at these sections on the site, has downloaded this brochure. Now, what is the next step? The next step is maybe when this person comes back to my site, I might want to test it out. That if I show this person a pop-up and say, click here to connect to the rep, or click here to have a chat with one of the service representatives, that's basically personalization. So you are tracking their digital body language, and then you're doing some testing, some optimization to figure out what's the right. Remember the Google example I shared with you? That's exactly what Google did. Google realized that out of my real estate I had 10 links, and 8 of them are just not performing, and people are just not clicking on those rest of 8 links. So I'd rather optimize and then change my look and feel. And that's what they figured out, that simply just having one search box and one submit button is what my users want from me. So yeah, you collect the signals and you optimize and do testing and personalize, fail and then learn, and then apply those learning from the failure back into your next campaign.
Okay, last question, and this one is just up your alley, Madhukar. There are a lot of data mining and visualization tools in the market. Can you suggest the better ones out there for the rest of the ed tech industry?
Yeah, so you're right. There are a lot of mining and visualization tool in the market. I'll say just look at the Oracle ones. But I think more than the tools, what is important is tools are just enabler. So I think without looking at the tools, let's just start looking at, Excel sheet is itself a very great tool to do some amazing data mining and visualization and some data consolidation, and you can do aggregation and whatnot. So let's just start looking at the collection of data first, which is more of a consulting than a product or than a, uh, you know, or a solution or a software. So look at the data collection. How is it happening today? Are you able to collect data? Is it structured, non-structured? Can you get that data in one place today without investing in a tool? Once those things are sorted out, then you can start looking at, your size of data, the velocity, the veracity of data, and then start looking at the scalability aspect of it, the user interface aspect of it. If you have scientists in your team, they might be familiar working with R or Python. If you have, some mid-tier, marketers in your team who just want more from, user-friendly tool, then you can look at, like we at Oracle have what we call DVCS, Data Visualization Cloud Service, and analytics on the cloud, which is designed for really the non-IT and the scientists, but more for marketers and business users.
So I'm going to actually address one general question here, which was, when you use technology, does the personalization drop? So I think that is how
Exactly, no,
we
like
actually
this. I just don't believe
use our
it.
technology, and in the sense that it doesn't have to be that the humans do not interact anymore. It can always be assistance, with the human who's using technology to personalize it. So I think that that is really the most important area, that how do we use technology in order to customize our own relationships, and how do we scale it, because without technology we just can't. So if Swapna or Madhukar, you want to comment on that, and I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, sure. I'll let Sapna, if you like.
Okay. See, with the scale at which we are operating, in any large organizations with large number of users, you just cannot avoid technology. Personal connect, human connect is important, and that will continue to be important. But identifying where that human connect is required, figuring out those uh, key connects that we need to make, that also requires technology. So definitely, technology is important to be implemented to have better experience for your customers.
Yeah, and I'll again, Sapna, say the same thing. Humanly, it's impossible to solve the scale problem. So you will need machines, you will need AI, you will need technology at your rescue, so that you don't end up doing just action and just the regular the regular execution job. You have to be strategizing, analyzing, rather than doing what machines can do very well for you.
And with scale, I think delivering consistency and quality is very important, and you can't do this without technology again.
Totally.
Great. I think we've had a great discussion today, and with this, we'll call it a wrap. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. We do hope you enjoyed this session. Thanks also to Swapna and Madhukar for making it a very enjoyable and engaging session. And we do hope to see you all in the next episode of the Let's Talk CX in association with Oracle webinar. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.